Hi, everyone, wherever you might be joining in from. We are so excited to have you guys here at our Building Your Smart Metering Core in Asia Pacific webinar hosted by SWAN and also our smart metering community at SWAN. So very excited to have you guys and also to be hearing directly from Toowoomba Regional Council in Australia and also Water Authority of Fiji later today. So my name is Zalba Dashmikmer and I am the Asia Pacific lead at SWAN. And yep, very excited to bring together today's webinar with you guys. And just before I head up, for those who might be unfamiliar with SWAN, SWAN is a global nonprofit forum that we bring together water utilities, solution providers, and researchers and industry leaders together to advance the use of smart data-driven solutions in the drinking water, stormwater, and wastewater systems as they are moving across their digital journeys. So we provide different resources, and here you can see with the mission to transform water together by empowering our ecosystem. We primarily focus on three key areas of our three key pillars. So one is around engagement, to really bring this networking and meeting opportunities to meet with one another within the water ecosystem. And education is around bringing technical and educational content in their smart metering journey. So something similar to this webinar. And also execution is around bringing concrete research and strategic outputs to our smart water community. And these are some of the resources of our recent resources that you can see from here. And I think the most relevant one for you guys would be Smart Metering Playbook that got published earlier this year together with the Water Research Foundation. So you can find this playbook of over 80 different case studies regionally and globally on our website and also the Water Research Foundation's website. It is open and public access, so you can go ahead and look into that. Would be the most important and valuable, relevant resource for you guys here. And speaking of some of our engagement, just a couple of weeks ago, we were in Kuala Lumpur doing a regional gathering of SWAN workshop as a digital lead partner with the Asia Water. So we had a great engagement. Maybe I saw some of you guys who were there already joining this call too. So really great to have you guys there. And with my follow-up resources, I'll share some of the information with the link. You can access this information. And coming up with SWAN, we will be at the Singapore International Water Week. You can see our program there. It'll be exciting to see you guys there. And also our annual conference, the 16th annual conference is coming in Tampa earlier June. So it'll be great to see you guys there as well. So before I hand it over to Nish, just a couple of things around our logistics. So we will be sharing all of the slides and the recording of today's talk with everyone for those who are registered to our event. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section of the Teams so that we'll be moderating it. So we'll be taking a couple of questions right after each presentation. So feel free to put them in while our presenters are speaking. And if we can't address it during the presentation, we will take them, all of them, at the end of our of both presentations. So without further ado, I want to welcome Nish Dogra. Nish is a project manager of smart metering at Sydney Water. He's been very involved with SWAN for many years, and he is also our SWAN Smart Metering Community of Practice Group's APAC lead. So Nish has an over decade of experience in the water industry, primarily working around smart water initiatives across Australia and Asia. So with his network of engineering to digital strategy and project leadership. So I am excited to hand it over to Nish here.
Thank you, Zulbu. And a warm welcome to everyone who's joining us today. I can see there's a lot of names I know and a lot of unknown names joining us from across the globe. It's great to see such a diverse range of people joining such events. And I think that's the whole purpose of setting up these events, where we can not just teach, but also learn from all the people. Whether you're managing a small metropolitan smart metering project or with a large city, Smart metering core is something which is becoming more and more important to most of the water utilities across the globe. It used to be just smart meter reads and billing purposes, but it's slowly growing more into the non-revenue water space, understanding your assets, understanding your customer consumption trends. So it's not just um, an extra technical upgrade, it's becoming a key requirement for a lot of utilities. And that's why we're setting up this webinar of building a smart metering core. Setting up a regional context in the Asia Pacific. I think across the last few years, we're seeing a large trend. One of them is moving beyond billing. As I just said, a lot of utilities were just trying to get into smart metering to get faster billing done, but it's slowly moving into a more intelligent space where they're trying to get, the live data to slowly go into leak detection, be more proactive about non-revenue water, and also understand your network health. There's also a lot of scalability challenge, which we've seen across the utilities. I myself have worked across two, and I've spoken to quite a few utilities who face the same challenge. How does the utility make it work for about 1,000 or 1 million endpoints? Small trials is something that's been happening everywhere, but growing that into a large-scale deployment, like 1,000 or 1 million endpoints, that's where your actual project starts. Customer transparency is another point, which this is a trend that we're seeing. A lot of customers nowadays, especially the new generation, are used to getting the live consumption details from power industries and all the live analytics they can see with the smartwatches and phones. So there's a growing trend where customers really want to understand what their live water consumption is as well, or as close to live as we can get. So there's a lot of demand from customers as well, understanding their consumption so they can be more water aware, whether it's about saving water or saving money. The case studies that we have today kind of delve into those kind of two diverse environments where there's one where there's a small regional council in Australia, Toowoomba Regional Council, who have actually deployed more than 90% of their smart meters. And we also have Water Authority of Fiji today, who are going to be presenting of how they've used smart metering to solve their challenges. So without wasting a lot of time, I would like to introduce the first speakers of today. I've got Jaek Passier and Paul Hockings. Jaek will be joining us online through a video only. Paul is there, and we also have David Mason from Iota joining us. And they'll be walking through us about their journey and the key pain points they solved along the way while they were doing the Toowoomba Regional Council deployment. Gentlemen, pause the audience.
Thanks, Nish. Firstly, thanks to Zolvo and Nish from the SWAN Asia PAC Forum for the opportunity to present the Toowoomba Regional Council Smart Metering case study and their journey from trial to scale. For those who don't know me, my name is David Mason, Customer Director from Iota, a fully owned subsidiary of Southeast Water here in Melbourne. I've been working with TRC since mid-2021. I'm joined today by Paul Hocking, Manager of Water Infrastructure Services at TRC, and Jaek Passier, who's the GM of Water and Waste Services at TRC. And as Nish said, he'll be joining us via a recorded video. We'll move to the next slide in terms of our agenda for today. Again, for those who aren't familiar with where Toowoomba is, it's actually located about 130 kilometres due west from Brisbane at an elevation of 700 metres. It's the second largest inland city here in Australia, with a population of around 190,000 people, and it includes 19 surrounding towns in the region. It's sort of the gateway to the fertile Darling Downs farming region, so it pulls a lot of people across that region. Today's agenda will cover the TRC's challenges and what actually drove their decision to go digital back in 2021. Paul will speak to that in detail. I'll talk a little bit about the solution and how the consortium came together to deliver that solution for TRC. And we'll hear from Jaek on the results so far and lessons learned, and what we can expect, or what TRC can expect from new and interesting data insights as they move forward. For now, I'll hand over to Paul to share TRC's case for change.
Thanks, David, and welcome everybody to the webinar. So we've got a slide up there around our efficiency challenges and the case for change. Anybody who's been in Australia would be familiar with the Millennium Drought, and Toowoomba was hit hard. The dry conditions started sort of at the end of last century, around 1996, and there were some particularly dry years, 2001, 2002, and it continued through to 2010. And this council here, I suppose, like I'm only new to Toowoomba Regional Council, but the council's always been focused on frugal water consumption. We've got a standard KPI of 200 litres per person per day. Toowoomba is a growth area. As David said, we're on the western edge of Brisbane, about 1.5 hours out, and we have limited water supply. So we have 3 dams that we own ourselves, and bores located throughout the water area. Traditionally, we've had 6-month billing using mechanical water meters, and there always seem to be meters at the end of their economic life. We've got a policy in place which has shelled out about $1 million in water rebates, and it was mainly from that customer bill shock when they weren't aware of leaks. In late 2010, they finished the pipeline from Wivenhoe Dam, which is really only run during drier periods, but it results in exponentially higher electricity and water allocation costs to pump the water up the Great Dividing Range. So whilst water loss for the customer has been the initial focus of our rollout, we've got a TRC water app set up with about 12,000 users, and I suppose the future is transition to quarterly billing, and we've reduced our water meter readers down to 2 staff. Probably next slide. So whilst I wasn't at council when we did the business case, there was a cross-organisational working group formed, a number of scenarios were reviewed, and we settled on the NB-IoT ultrasonic meters. Customer side leaks, and we've got people in our rates and revenue team that look daily at continuous flow alarms. What a continuous flow is water use at a premises between 12 midnight and 4 a.m. With anything over 400 litres per day, our team in rates and revenue contact the individual residents. And what we're seeing is that we've had over 50,000 continuous usage alarms since 2023, and we've saved over 95 megalitres of water has been identified. So we had a target of 2% customer side leaks, and we've well and truly exceeded that sort of KPI. Next slide, please. So this is a quote from our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff. If you read the quote, it's essentially all about leaks and breaks, and a focus on saving water. And I suppose that sort of epitomises what the Smart Water Meter project is all about. So I'll hand back to David to talk about the solution, and thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. The next slide, please. So the actual solution that was deployed, as Paul said, leveraged narrowband IoT from the telecommunications providers, and it enabled wide coverage using, again, the existing telecommunications infrastructure, ideal for a dispersed urban and rural area like we have here in Toowoomba Regional Council. It reduced network complexity, and it really did enhance scalability. So the combination of narrowband IoT and an open standard ultrasonic metering platform really enabled near real-time data transmission, supporting frequent reads and timely operational alarms. The solution, as you can see here in the centre, consisted of Iota's Lentic platform, a proven platform developed by Southeast Water, where you have, again, the Optus NB-IoT network, and then the digital meters, along with narrowband IoT data loggers from Iota. So that the platform in the middle enabled easy integration and seamless integration into TRC's billing platform, and then the new customer engagement platform from Green Bee. And as you can sort of see, there's future capability being looked at in terms of how do we take it to the next level in terms of automating some of those customer leak notifications that Paul talked about. And the other big development since this was first deployed back in early 2022 is that we've now integrated all of the metadata out of Lentic into TRC's data lake, enabling a lot more insights from the data through smart reports that are being developed. So we'll go to the next slide. Thank you. So this solution, as I mentioned, was underpinned by a consortium approach with expertise from various partners. As I mentioned, Optus, the consortium lead, provided their reliable NB-IoT network coverage. And interestingly, after almost 5 years since early deployment in 2022, only 200 meters of currently about 65,000 of 70,000 meters are the only ones that aren't able to get a regular connection daily. So that's amazing given the sort of the rural setting that TRC has. And then Iota was also a key part of the consortium in terms of leveraging the proven digital meter and Lentic metering platform solution developed by South East Water, along with our water management expertise to really support TRC on their smart water metering journey. And then finally, Green Bee, as I mentioned, a customer portal that was also a key part of the end-to-end solution, enabling daily meter usage data and leak notifications to be shared with TRC's residents. If we move to the next slide, please. So one of the specific challenges moving to digital metering you end up with moving from one single data point from a mechanical meter each quarter to a digital meter producing or generating more than almost 7,000 data points per quarter. And the key to managing that volume of data and all the alarms without being overwhelmed is to have a platform that can scale and manage up to a large fleet of more than 70,000 meters. So a key part of that consortium solution was, as I mentioned earlier, Lentic, a purpose-built IoT platform that really does simplify the device and data management, and really, as you can see in those dashboards, really only visualizes the key alarms that need to be acted upon. Otherwise, all the other alarms and metadata can be filtered through some smart rules that are part of the metadata management platform. So this really does enable and help TRC to detect customer-side leaks much earlier than what they would have been able to achieve through 6 monthly billing. Would have been the only other time that they would have their customers would have known that they had a leak. So hence really reducing customer bill shock and allowing faster and smarter decisions by TRC overall. And on that note, I'll hand over to Jaek from TRC, who has recorded some of those benefits that TRC are currently enjoying through this smart meter project. So Zolbu, I'll hand back to you to turn the video on.
Glad to be here. And apologies that I couldn't be there in person or live online to talk about the SWAN as part of the SWAN Smart Metering webinar. I'm here to share some insights that we've had in relation to our smart water meter rollout. So as it stands today, Toowoomba Regional Council has deployed 60,000 NB-IoT meters across our entire water network to our water side meters, to our customer meters. We're closing in on 70,000 meters, and we expect to include all of our 20mm commercial digital meters with the full deployment and the project fully completed by the end of 2026. To date, we've seen a whole heap of really positive results, and most of those are in better visibility of what our customers are actually doing, how our customers actually use our product, when and how much. And this has included some really positive outcomes for our customers, including since 2023, when we started the project, we've identified over 90,000 continuous usage alarms. Through our Lentec platform, which has helped uncover roughly around 50 megalitres of lost water. So that's water that would have been either paid for by our customers that they didn't know was happening, or water that's been leaking at such a low rate that we weren't even able to record it within our meter, which is really important for a water security position for Toowoomba Regional Council. We have had some periods of extreme drought, and water security is a really important component of our customer focus to our region. Now, the other things we've also seen is around giving price a purpose. We're looking at moving towards to a quarterly billing cycle, and by utilising the app and with strong uptake of our water meter app, we've been able to really drive price of purpose for our customers. So understanding what they're using, how much it's costing. At the moment, we sort of have been running a 6-monthly billing cycle, which means sometimes users could be up to 6 months removed from their behaviour. So really seeing users modifying their behaviour, the ones that are using the application and finding it really helpful. Also to understand when mistakes happen. So when things like taps are left on, when trees are planted, those sort of bits and pieces, really driving a positive behaviour and positive outcome for our customers. When it comes to what sort of learnings we can share from our journey is around its policy position, and those little things sometimes do matter. Understanding how our customers used to interface with our department and how they can interface more efficiently and better into the future, as well as understanding the power of data and the power that our team can then use, and what this data could potentially be used for, which then does leverage into the future for Toowoomba Regional Council. Obviously, having every single one of our customers connected to a digital interface platform that shows them exactly what their usage are, it really is going to help us identify a lot of those capital works programming and timing, ensuring that we're spending capital money effectively and efficiently, supporting growth. Toowoomba Regional Council is experiencing quite a high amount of growth at the moment, and ensuring that our investment in critical water infrastructure is not just after we need it or too far early, but rather just in time, and ensuring that we're recording and monitoring our network for its performance. We're also looking into opportunities such as things like digital twins and other components to aid our operational team in making efficient and effective decisions when it comes to how our network is performing. That's all from me now, and again, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'd like to thank Iota for their hard work and for that opportunity to hear some of the lessons and some of the great benefits that we've seen from our smart water meter journey. Thank you very much. And I'm glad.
So I think back to Paul.
Sorry, David, I was waiting for you to talk here.
No,
so
I won't steal your thunder.
Yeah, really, I suppose just wrapping this one up. So yeah, July 23, council installed the smart water meter network on these residents' property, and yeah, within 2 weeks they'd received a letter stating that they had a possible water leak, and sure enough, they had a hot water system that had sprung a major leak, and they were losing approximately 2,000 litres per day. So yeah, a very good initiative, and that's not the only story that we've heard along those veins. There's been a number of similar stories and published in articles, and yeah, if the resident wants to take interest to what we're telling them, they can really save themselves some money. And probably back to you, David.
In fact, I think it's back to Zolbu now. We might have time, I think, maybe for some questions, Zolbu.
Yes.
Or
Thank you,
Nish.
David. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Jaek, who was online. some really useful and insightful information. We do have some questions. I think I had one question written as well, but Mohammed's covered it as well. So one question from Mohammed, which I wanted to ask as well, was what's the percentage, or if you have some kind of indication in terms of how much non-revenue water has been reduced or saved over the last 12 months, or any information you may provide on that side of things as well.
Yeah, maybe I can take that one, Paul. Unfortunately, we didn't leverage the opportunity of deploying a vibration sensor in this first round of digital metering journey. That technology was just coming, as probably in 2022, when the business case had already been locked down for just normal flow meters. And as I understand, for now, TRC haven't sort of deployed DMAs and aren't doing any sort of water balance. That is an opportunity moving forward into the future, without a doubt, to sort of identify leaky parts of the network on the network side rather than just customer side leaks. But customer side leaks were one of the key benefit drivers. But there's untapped additional benefits when we look at potential identifying
where we're
more
up
correctly.
to with that, David, is we've just rolled out the 20 millimeters. We're trying to roll out the 32s, 40s, and the loggers. We're trying to look at all our little towns and trying to finish a couple of those towns with
Like
all
DMAs.
their meters,
Yep.
so that we can do that water mass balance calculation, water in, water out, to try and then look at where our leaks are. So we're nearly at that stage of where we can start to leverage off the size of the implementation, Nish.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I know there's a lot more questions coming. I'll ask one more question before we move on, and we can come back to some of these questions when we have Q&A session in the end, making sure at least we cover everything. So one last question I had is, which is more of a practical example, which I've seen in Sydney Water as well. So I know you gave an example of usage alarms, thousands of continuous usage alarms that you're getting. What is the percentage of actual fix you're getting from customers? Because a lot of the times you pass that information on to the customers, and you less like to get very less percentage of people will actually fix their leaks. A lot of them will just get that as a notification and never do anything about it.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that one, David, because you've got the data.
I don't have an exact percentage of all the total, what was it, almost 50,000 alarms that have been triggered, and remembering some of those alarms can be a faulty toilet that go on and off. So that 50,000 alarms since early 22 up until now, some of them are very, very small leaks, almost like false positives, but some of them are big leaks. And without a doubt, like TRC have focused on probably the top, I would say 20%, and they've made a real impact where it's a significant amount of water leaking, and they're the ones that they don't just notify the customer, they actually follow up with not just an email or a letter, but with a phone call. But I don't have an exact percentage, but we can certainly pull that data, I think, from a lot of the data that we have at our fingertips. Perfect.
That's good to know. Before we move on, feel free to answer some of the questions that are in the chat. Some of them could be very trivial, which you can answer with a one word. Feel free to answer them, and whatever's left, we can come back to it on Q&A. Now, before we move on, we've got a small poll which we would like to try and run and understand where a lot of our listeners today are in their journey of smart metering. Well, I've found a lot of names, and a lot of them are vendors as well, but it'll be good to know if there are some people from utilities as well. So can you please run the Mentimeter poll, please, Olbu? Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nish. So I just put up a link in the chat, and also you can either use your laptop, or if you are on your computer, you can use your camera as well. Let me just share my screen here. So we have just a couple of questions. Just one is more around your background, but mostly primarily looking into like where you are at your smart metering journey. So first one is, what country are you joining from? We have a big crowd from Australia, New Zealand, India, China, UK. UK, it must be early for you, right? Solomon Islands, UAE.
Surprised people from UK are here. What is it? It's about 5 a.m. there, I think.
Yeah, something about that. Is it like 6 a.m. or yeah?
Yeah. Same with India as well. It's quite late night.
Yeah. But thanks, folks, for joining in if it's your quite early or later in your day. And the next question is around what type of organization are you working in? Are you with the utility or are you with the solution provider, a regulator, industry expert? I think we have quite a great crowd of a big water ecosystem, primarily from utility and solution provider and some of our experts and engineering firm. This is really great to see. And to the kind of like a main question that we wanted to tap into, what stage of smart metering journey is your organization is on? Maybe Nish, you can take it from here. I think we have just three questions here, right?
Sure. It's quite interesting.
Yep.
A lot of them are in early deployment stage. A
Mm,
very important stage indeed.
it is quite a
Like,
big majority.
Most of Australasia is in the same region right now in a very early deployment stage. Some have taken the leap, but they're still below 100K mark. That's good to know. Next question. Next one is what is a major blocker in your smart metering? Oh, have we skipped it?
Oh, sorry about that. I think this came first. The major challenge.
Okay, what is the major challenge you're trying to solve through smart metering? I got a feeling it's going to go more towards asset improvement, predictive maintenance. Huh.
Quite across the most areas.
Yeah. There you go. Non-revenue water, leading the charge, and asset management.
And our last question is around
what is the major blocker in your smart metering journey? Funding is something which I've seen across most organizations, and that again links back to the business case. Budget funding. Right. Now, I think it's great to see these answers, and I'm not surprised. A lot of them are what we expected, and this is what we started with. A lot of utilities are coming across a challenge of non-revenue water leakage, which was one of our major drivers. And again, budget and funding is always one of the key blockers. But then again, it comes back to the business case and how you kind of write it and link back to what you're spending on currently to get the benefits. All right, we'll move on. Next, we've got is Josateki. Sullivan, you've got the slideshow. Perfect. So we've got Josateki from Water Authority of Fiji. He's head of metering and installation. He's been a key person to drive the smart metering in Fiji. And I think it's going to be very interesting to hear from Josateki to understand how different parts of the world can implement and succeed in delivering smart metering in a very different ways. So it's no one size fits all. Everyone has a different way to do it. Everyone has different challenges, and we'll be keen to hear from Josateki of what challenges they face during their implementation. Josateki, just passing on to you. Floor is all yours now.
Thank you very much, Sambola, to everyone. As you know, my name is Josateki, and I'm currently the head of metering and installation for Water Authority of Fiji. First, I want to thank the Zolbo and the other colleague who invited me to be part of this webinar to share the smart metering journey that we have here in Fiji. Can you just confirm that you've seen my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen, but we can't see you, Josateki. Maybe your camera, but we can see the full screen.
So this is just the content of the presentation today. We have a few slides that talks about the background, the benefits, the way forward, the coverage that we have here in Fiji. And short video of the drive-by in one of our area here in Fiji. So just a brief background on the smart metering that we have in Fiji. We have 10 mechanical meters being used in our residential customers. In 2016, WEF was introduced to the smart metering. We had installed in most of our high commercial customers, which is connected to a data log upon branch, and data being transferred and accessed through a platform. We had mapped the route to domestic smart metering shortly after COVID-19, where we procured our first batch of meters that had provisioned for smart metering. In 2023, we had a few of our staffs that we went over to New Zealand that had meetings with some of the council who in that time were trialing the smart metering AMR. I can say that it was a success. Shortly after that, we returned with our WEN Pacific Technologies and APAC team to present to the WEF management. Shortly after that, all the paperwork was prepared with the data and the contract side, and later on the implementation worksheet. As you may be aware, some of the benefits of the utilities of this smart metering includes accurate billings. Customers have bills based on actual consumption and not on estimated bills. Real-time consumption monitoring, fast detections. This all reduces water losses. One of the key area of focus that we want to implement smart metering, better consumption control. It reduces our operational cost, and so the demand forecasting, action planning and predicting the demand for accurate investment and energy conservations. In terms of the benefits, real-time monitoring and accurate data. This involves continuous tracking enable efficient water management, operational efficiencies, data-driven decision makings, customization, revenue efficiency gains, empowered engaged customers, and digital infrastructure. For us to move forward from here is to ensure that
Sorry, Josateki, I'm gonna intervene. Is it okay if you turn your video off? I think your audio is cutting when your video is on. So maybe
okay, sure.
just to make sure we get a bit of clarity, I think go ahead and try turning your video off for now, and we'll turn it back again for questions. Thank you.
Okay. In terms of revenue, the way forward is through revenue collection, real-time data metering. It reduces our billing errors, invoicing delays, leading to faster and more reliable payments. Through data-driven management, this talks about the accurate consumption. Data enables to better planning and forecasting, and so it helps identify high losses and inefficiencies in networks. In terms of cost savings, it reduces smart metering, minimize manual tasks and reduces errors, reducing manpower vehicles, targeting a 10% decrease. Later on in this presentation, I'll be showing a video of a area of one person reached that 120 meters in one day manually, compared to the being read by a driver that 120 plus meters being read in 5 to 6 minutes. In terms of billing efficiency, it integrates with the billings software and tech, more accurate and frequent billing, and it aligns us to our monthly billing check. As right now, we are doing quarterly billings. The plan is to roll out across the regions, not only in the central, in the west and the north as well. Engage our customers. I think this is a key area that we need to focus, is to do a more awareness for customers, inform our customers in the target areas to ensure they cooperate and support for this implementation program. Perform a more regular to maintenance on the meters, ensuring the data is being accurate. Just some of the key challenges while implementing the works. Here in Fiji, we do have a lot of dogs. There are the presence of dogs in the compound. We have some of our staff being bitten so badly by dogs. Log gates, some of the ways that we've tried to implement smart metering have log gates. Some of our installation, the customers have buried and fully buried or partially buried the meters with conflict, which makes it hard to read the meters. The presence of underground services here makes the works difficult for us, especially during meter replacement works. Some of our improper installation practices and the use of copper fittings. This is just the coverage that we have. The plan is to roll out 10,000 AMR meters here. We do have the meters and all the accessories. On the screen, we have the status of the works per region in the north, here in the central, and the west. So I'll just put up a short video. Just hold on. I'll just transmit it. Okay. So this is just one of the areas that we have implemented the drive-by solution. Total of 100 plus meters being read by one staff driving in the car, and they are pulling the readings from on field. So this makes our reading much more faster, much more accurate, and we intend to roll out the whole projects in the other targeted areas as well. I'll just, for now, I can share the video later. I'll just to sum up. Just a special thanks to Pacific Technologies. I believe they're also in this webinar for going above and beyond during implementation and training for all our field staff and our billings team, ensuring the project is implemented successfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josateki. I do have one question from Danish. how was Water Authority Fiji staff experience on the implementation of the project, from the field team on the ground to the management? So they're trying to understand what was the staff experience when they were implementing the project. Was there any pushback and reluctance for the smart metering, and how did you overcome it?
I think the experience was a good one, in terms of because most of these the staffs they've never come across this method of reading. Almost all of their life they've been doing manual reading every day, every month, every year. So to implement a new method of reading it makes life easier. It makes reading faster. Is good. Is very good, and the staffs are looking forward that it's implemented in the whole of WFA.
Good, thank you. Okay, I can't see any other questions. Zulbu, so are we gonna have an open discussion?
Yeah, sounds good.
Can we get all the previous speakers online as well? I think I've got some questions which we can still discuss. I've got one question from Junaid. I think this might be for David or Paul. What has been the feedback from the customers of having smart meters installed? At what point did the customers start having access to their own smart metering data?
Maybe I can start and Paul can maybe add, but the Green Bee customer-facing app, or My TRC Water app, that's an opt-in sort of platform. So when the digital meters are first installed, the customers are given obviously a little flyer to sort of go in and actually log into that portal with their billing code. And I think currently it's about 25% penetration rate. But again, until TRC complete the complete rollout of their meter installation, they probably haven't gone as hard in terms of advertising that. But Paul, you might have a more up-to-date view on that.
Like we're up around 12,000 people registered with the app, and what we do, Nish, is we put a note in the water notice, basically saying, "Are you experiencing bill shock? Here's a QR code, download the app." And that seems to have been the best way to get people to download the app. So the second time we've done that, the notices only went out on the 23rd of April. So we're sort of hoping to get another upkick. The next step I want to do is try and be able to draw a polygon with the X and Y coordinates and notify people when we have a water leak in their area. And I reckon that if people have downloaded the app and they're starting to know up-to-date data, then their neighbours will download it as well. So I'm a bit keen to try and roll it out and push it a bit harder. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I guess the spin-off question and comment I would like to make is the back-end infrastructure of digesting data and providing that data back into a customer app is already there. So as you install the meter is activated. From the next day onwards, the data is available for the customers to do it if they're registered.
Yeah, and it's a pretty simple process to set up the app. I've got it for my house, and my wife's got it as well, and I look at it a fair bit. Like, I know how much water I use when there's just my wife and I home, Nish, and I know how much extra we use when my son comes home. And so it's quite and we've done a couple of medals or courses that you can do through it, and there's amazing the number of people that have just completed education through the app.
That's great. All right, so I've got one more question, a few more questions actually. One from John from Zalam. For rental properties, who receives the notification, the landlord or the tenant? And this is the question we are trying to answer at Sydney Water as well, but I'm keen to hear from you.
Yeah, do you want me to answer that one, Dave?
Yeah, there is a particular nuance there in Queensland and parts of New South Wales. Well, I'll hand it to you. It's different here in Victoria.
There's three different profiles. There's one for me as a resident owner where I get to see everything. As a renter, you get a very similar profile. If you're a real estate agent, there's a different profile where you can't see as much of the data. And if you're an absentee, like a landlord, you see a little bit less data. So there's 3 Pacific profiles, and we do get into a bit of trouble when like a house sells, and we've got to try and automate that process where the old user gets kicked off the app and the new user comes on, and when tenants change. But that they're sort of getting around that by interacting with the Green Bee help desk team, and we have to do a manual intervention. So yeah, it does create, we have got some concerns. We did get some legal advice around the privacy when we first set it all up, Nish, and that's why we've ended up with those 3 profiles.
Thank you. The next question I've got is from Sridhar. It's more on meter technology when rolling out 15K plus deployments. He's made a comment about ABB versus OTA impact and maintenance over long term. I think most of your meters are OT. Is it flow to activate?
Yeah, like like these digital meters, ultrasonic based, using NB-IoT capability. They use Lightweight end-to-end, which supports over-the-air both configuration updates and firmware updates. But the meters are essentially turned on at as part of the commissioning process at time of installation.
Okay.
So they can be updated if there is an important firmware update needed. And done remotely. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that answers your question, Sridhar. I've got one last question from Mohammed, which we skipped before. I guess you covered a bit of it in your slides. It's what are the challenges faced during the implementation of smart meters? And I appreciate if you can share the key lessons learned or some lessons learned during the deployment.
Yeah, it's just, look, I've come in about 2 years ago, Nish, and it just uncovers just so many unusual things. Like, we're an amalgamated council, so we were amalgamated in 2008 with 8 councils into one, and like in Millmerran there's all 25mm meters for residents, and they were getting charged as 20 mil under our policies. So there's 500 meters that are charged as 20 mil that are different sizes that we've got to deal with. We've got galvanized pipes on our side of the meter, and we've got galvanized pipes on the customer side of the meter that the plumbers won't change over because they're nervous about causing a break in the resident. So I'm trying to get some legal advice around that at the moment. Like, it keeps just throwing up. It's the gift that just keeps giving, Nish, because it just,
Just a quick comment to make there. The galvanized pipes. During my time at Waterkey, what we were doing is when we were replacing meters, we were replacing the main to meter service line, which is on the council or our side of things. At the same time, it just saves time to do it, and it solves a lot of problems. Is that something that Toowoomba's thought of doing or working on it or have done?
No, we've come up with about 60 on our side of the meter, Nish, and we just sent crews out and did them all over the last couple of months. So the plumbers walked past them. If they saw anything that was going to slow them down, they just walked past and come back to it later, if you know what I mean, and recorded it.
I've got one last question that came through from Neil. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if the first one you'll be able to answer. It says, what does each meter cost? Again, it's different for different meters and different prices based on different quantities, but I'll let you answer that. And who is responsible for the payment, the council or the property owner?
Yeah, so the council's got a contract with Optus. Optus is like the head contractor. Iota is a subcontractor who supplies the meter. Probably not fair to Optus and the privacy of the contract, Nish, to divulge the costs of installation. I'm sure David can have a chat with anybody.
The second part of the question. Second part of the question in terms of whether council paid for the meter or the property owner.
Yeah, so in Queensland, council owns the meter, and so basically the resident owns the pipeline downstream of the meter, and we own everything upstream, including the meter.
Just to add on to that, Neil, for you, So there are some councils who've got new meters charges where if it's a new development, then the customer might pay for that new meter. So you can get funding of the smart meter paid through that new development. A lot of the existing meters, it's a replacement, which council owns or utility owns. So they would pay for it through the business case.
Yeah.
And that's something I've seen across my time as well.
Yeah, that was something we got halfway through,
Yeah.
and new connections, we were still putting mechanical meters in.
Yes.
And so we had to pivot about 18 months ago and stop putting mechanical meters in, and then
Order
start
some more
putting new
digital
ones.
meters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, that was one of our learnings.
Perfect. All right. I'm coming close to the time as well. I can't see any more questions, Zulbu. Is that okay that we stop asking questions? Do you have any questions from yourself? I see Amir online as well. Does he have any questions, Amir?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, thanks so much for everyone. I think my last question for everyone, especially like Paul, David, and Josateki, is around one of the things is we want to have the 1 to 2 maybe practical takeaways, whoever is joining this call. So maybe if you can share just the key 1 or 2 takeaway that you would like all of our today's attendees to take away with them. Yeah, maybe we can start with Josateki. I know that we've been having a bit of an internet.
Can you just repeat? I'm not hearing you properly.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry about that. I said, what would you like the attendee to take away from your today's talk if they need to go back to their team and implement from your learning journey?
Probably our situation here in Fiji might be different from other countries, but I think one thing that probably I'd like them to do is, I highly recommend implementing smart metering with all the benefits that the speakers have highlighted today. I think it will be beneficial, not only for the staffs, but the company as a whole. I think for us, the main reason was to take the first step. It's just like a baby growing up. You crawl first, then you start walking, then you'll end up running, and you'll just find yourself, growing and in the future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Josateki.
Paul, you go.
Yeah, basically, I suppose the learning is to pivot. Once you start on the journey and once you start doing it at scale, you're going to come across all sorts of unknown issues, and it's a matter of involving all parts of your organisation. Like from the plumbing teams through to the rates and revenue teams, and it's a project that touches all parts of the organisation. So that's probably my learning from it. Over to you, David.
Yeah, just super quick, start with the end in mind. So don't just build for a trial, build for your end state and use a proven solution, an open standard solution, and work across the business and learn as you go, but build with the end in mind.
Do you want me to make a comment as well, Zulbu?
What was that?
Yes,
I said
please,
I can give a good 2-pointer as well. Look, we saw from the poll that a lot of people are stuck with funding. Now, again, if you look at your organization, there's different operating models, funding strategies you can deploy to make it pass. And I'm sure you'll always be able to find money to do something to save water somewhere, because smart metering does solve more than just metering and billing. Even if it means commercial and your large consumers smart metering, that solves a lot of your non-revenue water leakage issues and zone balancing. So there's always something you can do, funding you can take from somewhere which can work out. It's all about how you articulate your business case. And as David said, I think that's a very key point. A lot of utilities run trials, but once you start getting into smart metering, you can't just deploy 30,000 meters, build a backend infrastructure to process that data, show that data to the customers, and not do it fully properly. So yeah, as David said, think of the end. So your backend infrastructure needs to be fully involved and fully prepared to take on the amount of data that's going to come through. And then that is something you're going to start with thinking in your mind.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, everyone. I also saw Danish Khalil's point about Paul, gift that keeps on giving. That perfectly sums up the smart metering journey.
That was meant in a positive way as well, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for everyone who joined and stayed until here, thanks for everyone who joined. But also, yeah, mostly I think the big thanks goes to Toowoomba Regional Council team, Paul and Jaek, and also David, our Iota team, and also Jace, who's been involved a lot, and also Josateki and the all Water Authority of Fiji team. It's been a delight to have you guys all to share your journey with us as we are moving across digital maturity journey. And I think there's a lot to learn from each other. And I think just from these two case studies, we can see there's local and regional differences is quite big. So thanks so much, everyone. We will follow up with the resources afterwards to your emails. But yeah, I hope to see you guys later. And I put my contact details and also SWAN resources. If you guys have any questions, ideas, feel free to get in touch with us. So yeah, bye for now. Have a great day and take care, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thanks,
lot.
Nish.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.